Now at 6, we're continuing to follow breaking news of a reported shooting in Northeast Portland. We'll bring you the latest live from the scene coming up.
And ICE now says it has no plans to build a detention facility in Newport, while the mayor says he still remains on high alert.
Plus, the Portland Opera is hoping to raise millions of dollars in order to continue with shows next season. How much they're hoping to raise by the summer coming up as your news at sunrise starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for joining us here. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchik. We will get to your weather and traffic in just a moment, but first we want to get to that breaking news in Northeast Portland where police are responding to the reports of a shooting.
Corey Johnson is live at the scene right now. So Corey, what are things looking like out there right now?
Yeah, good morning, China. Matthew, right now we're at Northeast 112th and Sandy Boulevard here in Portland, where police have this entire area blocked off with crime scene tape. Multiple units have been arriving on scene since we got here roughly an hour ago. Officers focusing their investigation in the area just outside the Horseshoe Inn Motel, only a short distance from where we are currently. Now, police haven't exactly shared what led up to that gunfire, whether anyone was hurt or if they're currently searching for a suspect. We've reached out for confirmation and are still waiting to hear back. But we did get some new video in the last hour appearing to show police approaching a man with their rifles drawn. You can then see them appearing to take the man into custody. But again, no word if that man is a suspect in this reported shooting. And we did speak with two people also nearby about an hour ago who told us they heard multiple gunshots early this morning and they cannot currently get back to their motel room, but they declined to speak with us on camera. Since then, again, we've seen officers arrive, multiple units arrive on the scene as this investigation continues. Again, very limited in the way of information right now. We've reached out to Portland Police for multiple confirmations on injuries and potential arrests, and we'll bring you those updates as soon as we learn more. But this stretch of Northeast Sandy Boulevard, a very busy stretch for the early morning commute. Chris McGinnis has a look at the traffic impacts.
Yeah, Corey, thank you for that. Yeah, that section of Northeast Sandy Boulevard specifically carries anywhere from 10 to 12,000 cars and trucks a day. So hopefully as they wrap up their investigation, we'll get that open soon. But for your traffic detours around that Northeast Marks to the north, or perhaps Wygant or Prescott to the south, your best bet to get around that. We also have another crash down in Oregon City, Highway 213 southbound. We still have one lane block near South Redland Road. Back to the freeway drive. It's busy but moving. It's a little drippy right there on the Interstate 84 camera here approaching the I-5 split. There's I-5 from Clark County, getting busier but moving there. The freeways are in pretty good shape. Rod, as I look up to Government Camp, you can see some snow on the Cascade Passes this morning.
Yeah, they picked up 8 at Timberline and 6 at Meadows Base yesterday, or through last night, I should say. Here's a look at where we are down in the lowlands, and basically it's the northwest corner of our state and up into southwest Washington. We're seeing some light showers, nothing organized. Just light showers, Hillsborough, Portland, up in Astoria this morning. Good visibility under the cloud cover. Some raindrops on the lens, it looks like now, from our Salem camera, 44. And there's downtown Portland with some rain moving through the downtown area. We're at 45 degrees. So the light shower chance is ongoing today. 40s out the door, about 50 at noon. Could go as warm as 54 this afternoon. Not a bad day, just some light rain at times. Back.
Thank you, Rod. New this morning, rescue crews along the Oregon coast are honoring a Coast Guard rescue swimmer as he remains on life support.
Yeah, according to Air Station Astoria, Tyler Jaggers was injured while responding to a medical evacuation last Friday near the Washington-Canada border, where a person on a boat was having a stroke. Jaggers was later taken to a hospital in British Columbia. On Wednesday, members of the Cannon Beach Fire District gathered to honor him, saying the rescue swimmer trained at the station and worked alongside them. They posted on Facebook, quote, "He represented the very best of what it means to answer the call to help others." The Coast Guard says they are investigating the incident.
New this morning, ICE officials say they have no plan to open an ICE facility in Newport.
Still, Newport's mayor says the town is worried that the federal government could try to build a detention facility in the future. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joining us in the newsroom now. So Thomas, what more do we know here?
Well, guys, this is a back and forth that has stretched on for months now, with ICE filing a motion to dismiss this suit, which was filed back in December. In the latest filing, an ICE official says ICE has made no decision or plan to begin construction of a temporary holding or processing facility in Newport or Lincoln County. Federal officials previously explored establishing an ICE detention facility at the Newport airport. Still, Mayor Jan Kaplan says the city of Newport hasn't received any notice that ICE will not try to place a facility in Newport sometime in the future. In a statement, Mayor Kaplan writes, quote, "For months, ICE has left our community in a state of uncertainty. We will remain actively engaged until ICE has made a decision, and we will only be satisfied when that decision is to make a permanent commitment not to establish a detention facility in Newport." Kaplan adds that due to what he calls a lack of transparency from both the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, litigation will continue to ensure a facility is not built in Newport. China.
Thomas, thank you. After several days of testimony presenting different perspectives, a federal judge will now determine whether law enforcement officers are permitted to use tear gas outside Portland's ICE facility.
The ruling could shape how protests are handled outside the building moving forward. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi has been tracking the case from the start.
For the first time, we're seeing body cam footage and hearing from the federal officers protecting Portland's ICE building through videotaped depositions, their faces obscured by the court for safety reasons. Lawyers representing protesters argue the federal agents used excessive force, violating protesters' protected speech. They point to January 19th, when officers appeared to violate their own policies by pepper spraying nonviolent protesters outside the facility.
Did you see anybody engage in violence in this video?
I did not see any violence in this video.
Did you see protesters engaged in passive resistance in this feed?
Yes.
And would that include the protesters you sprayed with pepper spray?
Yes.
Protesters' attorneys also questioned federal officers about their training.
Can you recall, in general, the type of training you received with respect to First Amendment rights of protesters?
No. Judge Michael Simon has already temporarily limited the use of chemical munitions by federal officers at the ICE facility. Now, protesters, including Jack Dickinson, also known as the Portland Chicken, are asking him to extend those restrictions by issuing a preliminary injunction.
I just fundamentally refuse to believe that the only way you can keep a building like that operational is to gas a city over and over again.
Lawyers for the Department of Homeland Security argue officers are protecting the building, and sometimes the use of force was necessary. They claim tear gas and other munitions are important tools to prevent violence and keep officers safe. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
Both sides wrapped up their arguments yesterday afternoon. We expect a ruling in the coming days.
And an updated bill that would ban most law enforcement officers, including federal agents, from wearing masks is closer to becoming law in the state of Washington. The bill passed the final vote in the House Tuesday night and now just needs to clear one more vote in a conference committee. The governor says he looks forward to signing the bill. It does include some exemptions, including for religious reasons, undercover operations, and certain safety situations.
The state is one step closer to providing $365 million worth of improvements for Moda Center. The state Senate passed a bill yesterday in an effort to keep the Blazers in town for at least the next 2 decades. The funding comes with conditions. The NBA must approve the sale of the Blazers. The city of Portland and Multnomah County must make their own financial commitments, and the team must sign a lease of at least 2 decades. The Blazers would also be responsible for any cost overruns on the project, and lawmakers say that they think that these safeguards will protect taxpayers.
How do we, at the end of the day, protect Oregon taxpayers to ensure that this investment is one that is wise? I believe we did that.
The Blazers sent out a statement after the vote thanking lawmakers for approving it. The bill now heads to the Oregon House.
Well, a bill that would hike the state's lodging tax to fund the Department of Fish and Wildlife is headed to the governor's desk. This comes along with a warning from the Portland Metro Chamber that the tourism industry is already struggling. The chamber is saying yearly spending on tourism is still $100 million below what it was before the pandemic. The bill would increase Oregon's lodging tax by 1.25% to fund conservation projects. According to the state's conservationists, more than 300 species in Oregon are considered at risk due to habitat loss, climate change, and pollution.
The Portland Opera is launching a $5 million fundraising campaign to ensure the show can go on next season. That's according to our partners at the Portland Business Journal. The Keep Portland Operatic campaign is having a goal of raising $1.5 million by the end of June. So far, the Oregon Community Foundation has contributed $1 million towards that goal. Now, opera leaders hope to raise the remaining money within 16 months. Recently, other art groups like Portland Center Stage and the Oregon Children's Theater have been trying to raise money, saying audiences haven't returned to pre-pandemic levels. And while donations are going down, expenses are rising.
United Airlines says it will now remove or even ban passengers from flying if they do not use headphones. United amended its policies last week to say passengers must wear headphones when listening to audio or watching a video on their devices. The carrier's rules now say it may refuse transport on a permanent basis to those who don't comply. If you forget headphones, United will provide earbuds when available. If not, turn your volume off or, hey, maybe read a book. So I support this.
You are the worst person if you are on a closed metal tube playing a game or listening to your music out loud, because I just want to be like, it's your world, buddy. We're all just living in it. You're so special.
And while you're at it, ban people who take their shoes off too.
That's a hot topic as well.
Do not take your shoes off on an airplane.
What if you're wearing open-toed, like people wear sandals, flip-flops?
Keep them dogs in the shoes.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be wearing flip-flops anyway. But if you are, then, you know.
Wow, tough crowd. It is.
Am I wrong?
No.
It is kind of sad that it has to be a rule to be considered to the people around you to have your volume turned down and have headphones in. I mean, obviously you need to do that, right? Here's our Oregon Veterans Home camera in the Dow showing the moon off on the left, and looks like some thin spots in the cloud cover here. 47 degrees. Again, not cold in the valley, not cold at the coast, and certainly not cold in the gorge this morning either. Winds are northwest at 13 miles per hour. A bit of a grayer look from the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront, 44 degrees. We do have some light showers moving through the valley in southwest Washington currently, and that chance of just kind of a traceable shower catching you from time to time is ongoing in today's forecast. But I think you're going to find lots of dry time as you're out and about today. These are current numbers: 41 Estacada, 43 Salem, 44 down in Albany. And the weather map for today, again, the clouds and the ongoing threat of some light showers. Temperatures anywhere from low 50s to mid 50s on the west side, about 27 upper timberline, mainly just flurries at times up in the mountains moving forward today. Snow level will be near the passes to about 3,500 feet. We've got low 40s out east and primarily dry, I think, in central and eastern Oregon today, with the exception of some showers hitting over the blues. So 54, a few showers. Rain will pick up overnight tonight, and then I think we will see some noticeable periods of passing rain tomorrow. That pattern continues into the night. Right now, current timing would have us all dry Saturday, a high of 60, a dry Sunday morning, mostly Sunday morning. Rain could be here as close as to the noon hour on Sunday. And then here's that colder weather pattern. Snow levels well below 2,000 feet, maybe near 1,000 feet at times next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's your update.
Thank you, Rod.